morning, my beautiful merfolk. If you are new, welcome to the Mer Clan. I am Mercedes, your Mer goddess, author, book, and webcomic reviewer. And if you are not new, welcome back to another Mercedes Reviews where I review new and new to me webcomics. Eventually, I'll be reviewing indie books as well, but for now, most of what I read are webcomics as they are my latest hyperfixation. Speaking of my latest hyperfixation, the webcomic I'm reviewing today took my full attention the few days it took me to binge read. Answer Me, My Prince is a completed fantasy romance webcomic on Webtoon. The web novel of the same name was written by Paul He Yu, who also wrote Peach in June, which was also adapted as a webcomic called June Peach, available on Tapas? Whatever. After I discovered the original story was written by the same novelist who wrote Peach in June / June Peach, it literally just made sense in my brain because both are epic, beautiful love stories that completely captivate the reader. Plus, they both deal with some timey-wimey stuff, making me think that this may be a trademark for the author. And honestly, I'm here for it. I'm going to try my best with these pronunciations. Just a disclaimer. But Answer Me, My Prince, created by Jun Ya and adapted by Tiva, follows Cordelia Gray, an editor at a publishing company. She is given a manuscript of the sequel to The Princess and the Knight along with a vintage chest. But when she wakes up the next morning, the manuscript she placed in the chest is gone. A letter is in its place. It's from none other than Prince Archie Albert, the handsome playboy and protagonist from the novel. What begins as curiosity morphs into a deep friendship, but can they stop themselves from developing feelings for one another, and will they ever get to meet in person? So that synopsis is straight from Webtoon. It is hard to talk about this comic without spoiling too much of it, but I did my best. That is what I will say. As stated in the series description, Cordelia is an editor at a publishing company. There was a book that her mother often read to her before she disappeared, The Princess and the Knight, which was about a knight who confessed his love for a princess. The princess told the knight to wait 100 days and nights beneath her balcony to prove his love for her. So the knight waited under her balcony without food or water day and night, but on the 99th day he left without a word. The princess searched for her knight and was never seen or heard from again. Even as an adult, Cordelia cannot help but wonder whatever became of the knight and the princess. Did they ever find each other again? Why did the knight leave after 99 days with only 1 day left? Haunted by these questions, she begs her publisher to allow her to hunt down the author and have the author write a sequel. Her boss eventually relents and Cordelia is overjoyed. The author leaves the manuscript at a small antique shop for Cordelia to pick up. She meets the most beautiful man she's ever seen when she goes to the antique shop. He gives her the manuscript as well as a book chest. He advised her to write a letter and put it in the chest and see what happens. So naturally, she doesn't think much of it. She goes home, she reads the character descriptions for the sequel, writes her notes and critiques, and puts it all in the book chest. The next morning, she opens the chest, and the manuscript is gone. But what she does find is a letter from Prince Archie Albert, a character from the sequel. At first, she's in disbelief, but eventually they both accept that somehow through this book chest, they can communicate in different times in different worlds. They begin to form a deep bond and friendship as they try to unravel the mysteries of the book chest, the missing knight, and the princess, and how it relates to the two of them. It's honestly such a beautiful, well fleshed out story. Everything is tied up enough at the end that you can be satisfied with the ending, but it still leaves enough open for you to imagine what the characters continue to do with their lives. And I swear to you, once you start this, you will not be able to stop. Okay, as I said, this is a completed series, and as with most comics on Webtoon, you can read a free chapter daily, and you have the option to unlock additional chapters by watching ads. Well, I couldn't wait. Like, I could hardly wait a second to start the next chapter. So I ended up getting the new subscription that they rolled out on Webtoon, literally just so I could finish this story. The story, the characters, the artwork, I'd rate all of it 5 platinum scales. Now I just need this story to be in print so I can have copies of it in my collection and read it over and over and over again. So please, Webtoon, let's make this happen. Please, 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 please. So similar titles to Answer Me, My Prince would obviously be June Peach on Tapas. Like I said, it's by the same author as Answer Me, My Prince. So if you love this story, I guarantee you will also love June Peach. And another similar title is Nice to Meet You, which used to be available on Manta, but is no longer available. You might be able to find it for free online. I am not promoting or endorsing pirating on my platform. I'm just putting it out there. But if you do go searching for Nice to Meet You, it is important that you know who wrote this, because it there is another comic with the same title, completely different from this one. So the Nice to Meet You that I am talking about is illustrated by Kori, Kkori, and the writer is So Won. And the original story is by Day, D-A-I. So I will include all that on the screen. But Nice to Meet You is about Jinha, an office worker who is traumatized from the bullying in her past and receives a mysterious message from the future. It is a time-slip story of fantasy and romance transcending time and space, where the main characters once again communicate via messages and form a deep bond without seeing each other and while living in different times. I truly found the story to be sweet and read this one quite quickly as well. June Peach, as we've kind of discussed throughout this video, adapted by the same author, or from the same author's web novel, is about Leah Riveron. So after 2 rebirths and 2 miserable failed marriages, Leah Riveron vowed to never wed again. Despite this, she can't get one man, the handsome Duke Julian Renal, off her mind. Though he ignored her in the past, this time Leah throws caution to the wind and tells him every detail of her past lives. He won't be interested anyway, right? But rather than repelling him, her refreshing honesty ends up charming him. Now with Julian hooked, will Leah's plan of a marriage-free life go as planned? I guess that's a somewhat decent description without giving any spoilers away, but it is another just very beautiful story about the strength and love between 2 people. So that is all I have for you today. If you have read Answer Me, My Prince, feel free to leave your spoiler-free thoughts below. Feel free to drop any similar comics that you have read or any comics that you would like to see me review in the future. And I will see you in next week's video. Bye!